Hello and welcome to Rapid TV News. I am Godwin Sunday. In the headlines, Senate approves Tinubu's troop deployment to Benin Republic, a peace mission. Rivers Governor Fubara dumps People's Democratic Party joins All Progressive Congress. In business, China fast tracks zero tariff access for Nigerian exports. On the international scene, ECOWAS declares state of emergency across West Africa. In sports, Anthony Joshua to earn 135 billion naira in Jake Paul fight. Details of these and more will come to you in the bulletin. Please stay with us. And top of our story for tonight, the Nigerian Senate has given the green light for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deploy troops to the Republic of Benin. The move is aimed at supporting peacekeeping efforts after last weekend's attempted coup in the West African nation. The resolution followed a plenary session where the Senate considered President Bola Tinubu's request for legislative approval. The president later emphasizing the urgency of maintaining regional stability was read by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Senators voted unanimously, giving full backing for Nigerian troops to join a regional intervention to restore governance in Benin.
Will the Senate now confirm the actions of Mr. President in the deployment of the Air Force and troops to Benin Republic to ensure peace mission and restore order and sanity in that country, thereby saving Nigerians from thousands and thousands of refugees and also saving Nigerian borders from unnecessary criminality and disruption of peace and stability. Those in support of the confirmation of the approval say aye. Those against say nay. The approval is hereby confirmed. Yes, Senate Leader, let me thank the President for complying with the constitutional requirements, requesting the Senate to give him the approval and consent to deploy troops and deploy all necessary armament as requested by the Republic of Benin to ensure peace, stability, and to save democracy in that country. We believe that the President has taken a step in the right direction. He is acting constitutionally. And I also want to thank my colleagues for giving even the approval and the consent without much discussion, because we believe that this is a step in the right direction. So I believe the letter of consent will be sent to the President immediately, and we thank him for rising to the occasion, because injury to one is injury to all. And moreover, the impact this would have had on Nigeria in terms of security of our borders would have been terrible. So we congratulate him for rising to the occasion, and we wholly consent to his actions. Leader of the Senate.
The Senate's approval later will be sent to President Bola Tinubu immediately, paving the way for Nigerian troops to join the peace mission in Benin. Away from Benin Republic, the Senate has summoned the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, along with key stakeholders in the aviation sector. The move follows public outcry over the step rise in domestic airfares, with some one-way tickets from Abuja to Lagos now costing between 400 and 600,000 naira. Senators warned that such price increase could disrupt travel across the country, especially with the festive season approaching. Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai, who raised the motion, emphasized that Nigerians are struggling with the soaring cost while highways remain increasingly unsafe. Lawmakers agreed that airline operators, regulators, and relevant stakeholders must appear before the Senate committees to explain the fare hikes and propose immediate measures to stabilize ticket prices ahead of the holidays. The House of Representatives has held a closed-door meeting with Finance Minister Wale Edun and the FIRS Chairman Zach Adedeji to address the growing concern over unpaid indigenous contractors. Presided over by Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, the meeting is believed to have focused on delays in implementing the capital component of the 2025 budget, which has installed President Bola Tinubu's federal projects and strained contractors' finances. Weeks of protests by indigenous contractors and previously blocked access to the National Assembly, prompting a temporal suspension of plenary sections. The House had issued an ultimatum to the relevant ministries and the Accountant General to clear outstanding debt, and this meeting was part of ongoing effort to resolve the issue and ensure timely disbursement of funds. In another development, police officers fired tear gas at members of the coalition of indigenous FCT contractors during a protest at the FCTA secretariat in Abuja. The contractors were demanding payment of an alleged 5.2 billion naira owned for completed projects, including drain ceiling, borehole drilling, school furniture, and medical supplies. The protesters blocked entrances and raised chants demanding the release of the funds. Coalition leader Chuka Mojindu said all contracts have been inspected and verified by the FCT minister as yet to authorize payment. He added that some contractors had suffered severe financial and personal hardship due to the delay. The contractors vowed to continue the demonstration until the government clears the outstanding debt, while the FCTA has not yet commented on the matter. Away from that, let's take you to Rivers State, where Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State has defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressive Congress (APC). He made the announcement at a stakeholders meeting at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. The move comes amid rising political tensions in the Niger Delta state. The defection followed confidential talks with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. Observers say the swift shift reflects ongoing political friction within the PDP and uncertainty about Fubara's position in the party, signaling possible realignment ahead of the upcoming political contest in the state. Well, let's move to Abia State, where the Abia State government says a recent Ministry of Health report shows that partnership and targeted interventions under the OT-led administration have saved the state over 2.5 billion naira in health care costs. Our correspondent Faith Kelvin reports.
This revelation was made by the Commissioner for Information, Prince Okekano, during a media briefing at the Government House, Umuahia, shortly after the week's Executive Council meeting, presided over by Governor Oti. Standing before journalists, Prince Kanu spoke with a tone that blended pride and gratitude. He told the story of how Abia State's bold collaborations with global health organizations, built on the governor's reform-driven vision, have transformed the state into a rising model in public health. In what promises to be a major highlight of Abia's health renaissance, the commissioner announced the upcoming Abia State Global Medical Mission scheduled for December 15th to 18th. This life-changing outreach, jointly organized by the state government, the Abia State Diaspora Council, and the Ministry of Health, is expected to bring specialized care to thousands.
We are happy to announce that the partnership between the State's Ministry of Health and the global health organizations, in line with the governor's vision and leadership, has continued to put Abia State in good stead in the health sector. A recent report released by the State's Ministry of Health indicates that all such interventions has saved the state upwards of the sum of 2.5 billion naira in healthcare costs, as well as saved innumerable lives. The collaborators include Revive Belgium, Pro Health, Olusegun Obasanjo Foundation, Living Hope Foundation, NDDC, etc., amongst others.
Prince Kanu also reported remarkable progress in Project Ekwemi, the administration's flagship initiative to rejuvenate primary health care. Out of the 102 primary health centers earmarked for the first phase, 81 are now functional, while the remaining 92 centers are set for full equipment and activation in the new year.
Let me also inform us that the functionalization of equipped PSCs under the Project Ekwemi is progressing very well. So far, 81 out of 102 PSCs scheduled for this phase have been functionalized. The remaining 98 PSCs will be fully equipped and functionalized in the new year. As regards the federal government-sponsored impact PSCs, 40 out of the 77 PSCs have been equipped. The equipped PSCs will be functionalized within the next 2 weeks.
To strengthen disease surveillance, the National Malaria Elimination Program is setting up a vector surveillance laboratory at the Ogbonnaya Onu Polytechnic, Aba. Reporting from Umuahia, Faith Kevin, Rapid TV News.
In another development, the Abia State chapter of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigerian, PASAN, has accused lawmakers of forcefully breaking the assembly gate to enter the complex during an ongoing strike. Members alleged that legislators used a hammer to bypass locks, while PASAN members protested for unpaid consolidated legislative salary structure, conlens and financial autonomy. PASAN Chairman Kalu Sunday said the strike ongoing for about 2 weeks is a response to unresolved financial issues, and he expressed concern for the safety of his members amid police presence. Efforts to contact the House Deputy Speaker for comment were unsuccessful as at the time of filing in this report. We'll now move to education, where stakeholders in Nigeria's educational sector have convened in Abuja to chart solutions to the country's ongoing education challenges. The maiden edition of the Nigerian Education Forum, NEF 2025, brought together stakeholders, commissioners, education policy members, private sector leaders, and global partners to discuss strategies for sustainable education financing and sector reform. The forum, held at the Abuja Continental Hotel, is an initiative of the Nigerian Governors Forum. It seeks to create a national conversation around equipping Nigerians' youth with the skill and knowledge needed to thrive in a rapidly evolving world. Participants highlighted that the greatest investment a nation can make is in the enlightenment of its citizens.
The country can no longer depend exclusively on traditional models of government-only funding of education. There is no doubt that we must transition towards a system that is collaborative, innovative, and resilient. The theme of this year's forum, Pathways to Sustainable Education Financing, developing a synergy between town and gown, compels us to rethink the very foundation of our educational ecosystem. Our needs have grown from classrooms to laboratories, from basic literacy to digital competencies, from theoretical instructions to industry-aligned skills. These needs demand a diversification and sustainable financing model, one robust enough to carry the aspirations of a new generation.
Available data shows that we must accelerate efforts through national education spending, which remains at 3% of gross domestic product. This is well below the global benchmark of 4 to 6% education spending to GDP. The 8% and 14% budgetary allocation to education in the national and subnational budgets fall short of the UNESCO recommended 15 to 20% benchmark for sustainable education financing. Across the states, however, we are seeing a promising shift. States spend 1 trillion naira, that is 12% of their total expenditure, on education in 2022.
Education is the bedrock of national development, and the quality of our schools, the capacity of our teachers, and the relevance of our curriculum will determine the future of our nation. While we have made notable progress in education policy and implementation, significant challenges persist, ranging from issues of access, equity, and quality to deficiencies in infrastructure, data management, and teacher development. But as you are aware, we have the necessary agenda, which is a national blueprint co-created with states and the Nigerian Governors Forum. It is in response to these challenges that this administration launched the Education Sector Renewal Initiative, which is part of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GC.
The Nigerian Education Forum 2025 concludes with a call for coordinated action, promising a unified effort to strengthen education financing, deliver quality learning, and prepare the country's youth for future opportunities. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Imam Sulaiman Ibrahim, has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to programs that empower women, strengthen families, and support vulnerable groups across the country. She made the pledge during the inauguration of the NLB Development Center, EODC, in Abuja. Our correspondent Nathan Williams reports.
Describing the center as a beacon of light shining brightly in the pursuit of a better future for Nigerian women, girls, families, and less privileged, the minister, represented by Mrs. Jummai Odonije, said its focus on training, skills development, and support services demonstrate the transformative power of education and hard work. She assured stakeholders of continuous collaboration, adding that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs will continue to render support as it looks forward for positive impacts from the center that will improve the lives of women and girls across Nigeria.
This milestone marks a triumph of vision, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to the noble cause of empowering women and transforming lives. The NLB Center for Development is indeed a beacon of light shining brightly in the pursuit of a brighter future for Nigerian women, girls, families, and the less privileged in our society.
In their various remarks, stakeholders urged government to protect civic freedoms, uphold human rights, and create spaces for public participation. They also said, as a nation with enormous potential, Nigeria can produce more great women as they engage meaningfully in matters of national development.
I therefore call on government to guarantee civic freedoms, to protect human rights, and create spaces for participation. I call on the 10th National Assembly to pass the reserved seat bill. And I call on civil society to remain courageous, united, and rooted in the struggles of ordinary Nigerians.
We look forward to the things we will do together. We look forward to the lives we will change, beyond just feeding children, going to the community, supporting the poor and vulnerable, but we look forward to policies that will transform together in this country. Actually, it has a vision or a strategy that says that in the next 10 years, actually 9 years now, we will contribute to lifting 5 million Nigerians out of poverty. There is no way we would achieve that without working with organizations like ECD.
In her remarks, the founder of NLB Development Center, Mrs. NLB, said the inauguration marked the beginning of a long envisioned journey of supporting women and young people, noting that the center will prioritize mentorship for young Nigerians and Africans, especially young women who face barriers limiting their opportunities.
We exist to champion gender equality, strengthen governance and human rights, support youth leadership, promote equity, and ensure that the marginalized groups are not forgotten. We exist to create programs that changes lives, shape policies, and strengthen communities. For ECD, we advance, the rights of the well-meaning Nigerians, women and youth, vulnerable people, Promote transparency and accountability. That's one of the core words.
There has been a strong call for collaboration between government agencies, development partners, academia, and private sector to support women and girls' development through support of centers like these and many others, also holding them accountable in delivering on their mandate. Nathan Williams, Rapid TV, Abuja.
The Nigerian Air Force says its C-130 aircraft landed in Burkina Faso strictly as a precaution after the crew observed a technical concern shortly after takeoff from Lagos. Air Commodore Hehime Ejodame explained that the aircraft diverted to the nearest airfield in Bobo del Lasso in line with international aviation protocols, adding that reports of airspace violation or detained crew members were incorrect. He confirmed all personnel are safe and receiving cordial treatment. The clarification follows a statement by the Alliance of Sahel States, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, which described the landing as an unfriendly act and accused Nigeria of entering its airspace without permission. The bloc says it had placed its air forces on maximum alert. The NAF says plans are on the way to resume the aircraft's mission and reassured Nigerians of its commitment to standard procedures and safety regulations. The National Agency for Food, Drug and Administrative and Control (NAFDAC) has issued an alert about the circulation of substandard and unregistered edible oils across the country. According to the agency, unsafe oils under brands like Fino, Po, Oki, Super, Delicious, and Lagonic are flooding markets nationwide, posing serious health risk. NAFDAC stated that these products have no traceable manufacturer details or official registrations number. Markets affected include Onitsha, Aba, Owerri, Warri, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Kano, and border communities like Idiroko. The agency urged Nigerians to exercise caution and only purchase oils with verified NAFDAC registration numbers. While you're still watching the live broadcast of Rapid News Hour, when news returns, China fast-tracks zero tariff access for Nigerian exports. Well, details of these and more are on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We'll begin with the world of business. China has announced plans to fast-track zero tariff access for Nigerian exports, a move expected to boost Nigerians' trade ambitions and deepen bilateral relations. The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yung Dohai, made the announcement in Abuja during talks with Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga. The decision comes as both countries mark 55th years of diplomatic ties and prepare for the 2026 China-African Year of Cultural Exchanges. Yu said accelerating the policy would create real economic gains for citizens of both nations, noting that China's partnership with Nigeria is now on what it described as the fast track guided by priorities in its upcoming 15th year plan. China recently extended zero tariff treatments to 33 African countries, and Nigeria appears positioned to benefit next. Yu reaffirmed Beijing's commitment to high standard development and global economy cooperation. In response, Minister Tuga welcomed the gesture and praised China as a critical strategic partner, reaffirmed Nigerians' adherence to the One China policy. He said Nigeria aims to align its development strategies with China and expand cooperation in manufacturing, investment, and long-term economic growth.